Hi everyone, welcome back to Mind, Body, and Soul. I am barefaced again, so that means I have a tutorial coming at you, and today it's going to be a fun one. I decided to do a makeup tutorial inspired by Valentine's Day, so you can wear this look if you're going on a date with your guy, or maybe if you're going to go celebrate with your girlfriends, or if you want to stay home and just be glamorous. That is totally up to you. So I'm going to start by priming my face with the NYX Honey Do Me Up Primer. This stuff is very hard to get out of the jar sometimes, so I just twist the cap until the little string goes away, and then I like to just rub it onto my hands, and once again, stringy. I don't know what makes it stringy, I don't know what's in here. Maybe the honey. So I'm gonna like tap this into my face. There's little strings everywhere. So I really like this primer. I don't feel like it gives me a lot of dewiness to the skin, especially once I apply the makeup, but it leaves this really almost tacky surface that just clings on to makeup. So I think it works as a really good primer because I feel like it really holds on to the makeup really, really well. All right. So next we're going to move on to foundation, and I have a new one for you guys. This is the Rimmel Lasting Finish 24-Hour Breathable. I have it in the shade 100 Ivory, and you know, I was excited to try this because it's a big doe foot applicator. I used to have the Rimmel Lasting Finish, the original formula, and it was like super full coverage, and I didn't like it. My skin was dry, and it clung to dry patches. It didn't blend in. It would sometimes, it didn't like it. It didn't work for me. And so I was really excited when they came out with this new formula because I was hoping that it was going to work for me. And guess what? It does. And the benefit is it's so light looking on the skin, like light feeling on the skin, not light looking. Okay. So I'm going to take my Anastasia Beverly Hills, bougie, right? Blending sponge. The majority of this video is this look, actually, is going to be drugstore. Like about 98% is drugstore makeup. I actually sometimes prefer drugstore makeup because that's what I can afford. So a lot of my makeups are going to be makeups. A lot of my looks are going to be affordable makeup looks. But I do have a few high-end products that I like to use from occasion to occasion, so those will be featured every now and then. And today, I'm going to be using high-end eyeshadow. So I'm just going to make sure this is all nice and blended. I feel like I want a little more around my nose and my cheeks. This foundation is buildable, but you're really not going to get much more than about medium coverage out of it. It's not intended to be, and that's what it says. It says medium coverage. It's not supposed to be super full coverage. If you want full coverage, get the original formula. But I don't want full coverage. I don't ever wear full coverage. I don't like the way they look on the skin, and I also just don't feel like I need full coverage. But that's a video for another time. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little more around my nose and my cheeks. I tend to get red around my cheeks a lot. I don't know if it's because I have allergy problems and so my sinuses kind of stay a little inflamed or flared up, but I do tend to get lots of redness around my nose and around my cheeks right here. Okay, so for the most part, yeah, that's good. Okay, I'm happy with this. I don't wear a lot of foundation. I will say that right from the beginning. If you watch my everyday makeup tutorial, I kind of talked about this. I'm not a huge foundation girl. I don't like the way it feels on my skin. I'm very picky about the kind of foundations that I wear. So a lot of times I'm not going to put 5,000 layers of foundation on my face. That's just not who I am. So if that's you too, then we are like kindred souls, and you may find some really good tips and tricks out of my videos. Okay, next I'm going to apply concealer. And so this I'm going to apply underneath the eye, and I'm going to also apply this on the eyelid. I like to use my concealer as my eye primer because it opens up my eye and it cancels out any veining. Okay, and it really acts as a really nice primer. Like, it stays all day if you set it, which I do. And I usually set it twice. I set it with like a setting powder, and then I actually put like a layer of eyeshadow on there to set. So I'm just going to blend this out with the pointy end of my sponge. It's pretty routine. Okay. Last time I made a tutorial, I went back and I was watching the footage when I was editing, and there was one eye I like didn't blend down past here, so you could see like concealer and then nothing else. And I was like, oh, and I like wanted to go through the screen so bad and blend that out. So I'm gonna be more careful for this tutorial. Okay. Okay, so the inner corners are really finicky for me. So I sometimes have to just kind of like press and swipe a little bit. Okay. So today I am going to bake for 2 reasons. The first one is that if we're going out for Valentine's Day, we want our look to stay in place. I don't want to worry about anything creasing, fading, anything like that. And the other reason is I'm going to do an eye look. And I like to do this when I'm doing more of a dramatic eye. I like to bake because if you get fallout, you just brush that fallout away while you're brushing your bake off. So I'm going to look kind of funny for a little bit, but that's okay. So I'm going to leave this on here for quite a while and let it bake, actually do what it's supposed to do. So I'm going to finish up the face while that's happening. So I'm going to take a little bit of the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I normally don't bronze, but this is a special occasion type of a look, so I'm going to bronze. And so I'm just going to hit kind of like the points of the face where I feel like the sun would naturally hit you. So that's going to be your forehead, the tops of your cheeks, and your nose, actually. Think about when you were a little kid and you used to get sunburned or you would get suntan. It's always the tops of your cheeks, my nose, because your nose sticks out. So it's like the first surface for the sun to gravitate towards. All right. This bronzer smells so good. It smells like a tropical vacation. As you can tell by the packaging, I just want to be like sipping a Mai Tai on the beach right now. It smells so good. Okay, I'm going to finish. Did I brush away? Okay, so I didn't brush away all my bake. I just had to make sure. Okay, if I can get it open. Next, I'm going to use the Milani Romantic Rose. The kind of theme for this makeup look, it's going to be kind of monochromatic, centered around rosy colors, rose golds, things like that. So I really wanted to make it super romantic looking, super easy, but also have like a central theme around roses because it's Valentine's Day. Put a rose emoji down in the comments if you actually enjoy getting roses on Valentine's Day, or if you like something else. Comment below and tell me, like, what is the one thing your man has to get you for Valentine's Day? Is it roses, chocolates? My mom actually likes edible arrangements, so that tends to be more of a practical thing because it's like getting a bouquet of flowers, but you can actually eat it. What is your thing that you love to get for Valentine's Day? I am single, so for me, let's see, what do I like to get for Valentine's Day? In the past years, my dad has been a saint, so he's like the greatest guy ever, and I love him. He's such a good dad, and so he'll buy me some Valentine's Day gifts, but usually it's makeup. So the past couple years, it's been makeup. I don't know what I'm going to ask for this year, or what I'm going to get. Maybe some chocolate. I like chocolate, but I'm on a diet. Okay. Story of everybody's life, right? We want chocolate, but we're all on diets, or we're trying to lose weight, or trying to eat healthy. So, okay, I'm going to move on, and I'm going to do my eyes while we have the bake on. And so the first thing I'm going to do is take a big brush like this. I almost call this paddle brushes. This is a Morphe brush, but it doesn't have the name on it. This came in like a set of theirs, so it doesn't have the name on it. And so I'm just going to take this shade Desert Sand from this is like the one non-drugstore item that I am using today. This is the Huda Beauty Desert Dust Palette. Okay, I'm going to take Desert Sands and I'm going to put this all over the lid to set that concealer that we applied earlier. I'm going to take quite a bit of this to set that. Just to put a nice base of shadow down so that we can blend. I find it's a lot easier to blend shadows together when you actually have a nice powdered base down. I'm actually going to go into my Coty Airspun powder. Oh, this is what I baked with. I didn't say that either. I used my Coty Airspun, my tried and true. It's just, shadows just blend better when you have a nice base of powder. It's not going to skip on the eye, or sometimes if you get like a super tacky eye primer, it'll skip and it doesn't look very nice. So set it with some powder. That's my tip. Okay, now we're going to get into creating the actual eye look. And so what I'm going to do is take a fluffy brush. This is from Wet n Wild, and I'm going to go into the shade Eden. And I'm just going to throw this into the transition. Like I said, we're doing a peachy, not peachy, a pinky rose gold kind of a look. I'm sorry, I'm also, the order in which I do makeup, I always do my brows when I do my mascara and stuff. So I know it looks a little weird without having brows on right now. But that's just kind of the way I swing things. Okay, so apply this. Be careful, these shades are super powdery. So don't go in too hard in the pan or you're gonna get a lot of powder, a lot of dust. They're super soft, I should say. So like you tap in and it brings up a lot of product. So with a shade like this, I'm not gonna tap off because it's super light, but with a darker shade, make sure you tap off any of the excess that you don't want so that you don't go overboard with your powder, okay? All right, so once I have a nice transition, I'm gonna take a smaller brush. This is the e.l.f. Professional Blending Eye Brush. It's like just a little domed brush. I've had this for years. It's so good. And I'm going to go into the shade Amber. Just a hint. I am going to tap that off. And I'm going to throw this into the low crease, like the actual crease of my eye, just to give some depth. And then I'm going to go back in with my Wet n Wild blending brush and make sure that it's nice and blended with the color that we put down below it. Okay, next I'm going to take a ColourPop Super Shock shadow, that's a mouthful, in the shade Paradox. A tip with these shadows, they are kind of a creamy texture, so make sure you keep the lid on tight with these so that they don't dry out. And they do break super easily. I actually had one that was damaged in transit. So I'm going to just throw this right on top of where I placed Amber. And as you can probably already see, it's going to create a little bit more of a pinky hue to the crease. And that's what we're going for because we're going to lay down a pinky color in the lid, on the lid, and I want to tie them together. I love wearing color on the eyes. If you do not, I apologize. I love wearing color on the eyes. In a previous video, I made the comment that I don't do dramatic eye looks, and I was like, wait a minute. Yes, you do. I don't do like the winged eyeliner with the big falsies. I will do dramatic colors, like in my eyeshadow. I don't do all of the other stuff. So I did misspeak a little bit. I do dramatic eye looks. I love playing with color. I think it's a really fun way to express your personality, and I like to wear purples, I like to wear blues, I like to wear oranges and pinks. Okay, so after we apply the Super Shock shadow, we're gonna go back into the Huda Beauty palette, and I'm gonna go into Saffron with a flat shader brush. It's synthetic. Again, this is Morphe, again, from that same little gift set that I got. So I don't know exactly, didn't come with names or any sort of information about what brushes these were. And I'm gonna just take this shade Saffron and I'm gonna place this on the outer third of the lid. I love this color. I love working with cranberries and reds and beautiful shades like this. Makes me happy. And then I'm going to kind of drag it a little bit out here to the outer crease. So my mom and I were having a discussion last night. I was singing Christmas songs. If you don't know me, I love Christmas. And so on the way to dinner last night, I was singing Christmas music. And my mom was like, Heather, it's Valentine's Day. Sing a Valentine's Day song. And I was like, there are no Valentine's Day songs outside of love songs. So if you know of any, let me know down in the comments so I can start singing Valentine's Day songs and be appropriate with the season. I don't know. I love Christmas. I could live in Christmas world all the time. In fact, I really want to have a house in my home in the future that's all Christmas, like dedicated to Christmas, 365 days out of the year. Okay, I'm gonna wipe off whatever excess I have on that flat shader brush, and I'm gonna go into the shade Weed, whatever, it's the shade right here. I don't know how to say it. I'm probably butchering it up. And I'm just really going to focus this on this lower part, kind of towards the lash line, and then on the outer part, kind of like in a V shape. Right here. Kind of over where we placed that shade. Saffron. Okay, and then once again, I just keep going back to the same blending brush to blend it all in. Okay, and now here is the fun part. I'm going to take my finger because I just find that shimmery shades apply best when I use my finger, and I'm going to go into the shade Angelic. It's got a little bit of glitter in here. I can't tell if that's from this one next to it, Cosmo, or not. And I'm just going to pat this all over the lid. Such a pretty shade. I don't, every now and then I'll foil my eyeshadows, but I don't normally do that. I find that it can affect the eyeshadow in the pan to keep constantly going in with a wet brush, so I don't do that a lot. I find that you can use your fingertip like that and you can get really decent application with your fingertips. And I'm going to go back into the flat shader brush with a little bit of saffron, and I'm going to just kind of blend where that meets the darker shades. Okay, and then there's like 2 or 3 more steps for the eye look, and then we'll be done. I'm going to hop on over into the Naked 2 palette. The only complaint, I love the Huda Beauty palette, but the complaint I have is the darkest shade is that Weed shade. And as you can see, when I put it on, it's not that dark. So I'm going to go into the Naked 2 palette to give me some depth, and I'm going to go very carefully into this black shade, like tippy top of the brush 1 or 2 times, and that is it. And I'm going to be super particular about where I focus this. This is going to go right here on the outer part, just right here, a few taps. And then I'm going to kind of drag it a little bit along the lash line. I hope that's picking up on the camera. Just like that. I don't want to do anything too black or too dramatic because I want it to be kind of soft and romantic, but I do like to have a little bit of definition in this outer part of my eye. And like I said, I don't do tons of eyeliner either, so this kind of will give the effect of some depth without having to do a dramatic cat eye, which you definitely can do. That's just not my style. Not my style. Okay. Let me make sure that we are even here. The light's kind of playing with my ankles. Okay, I need a little more. Kind of in this V part. Okay. Okay, and so then I'm going to once again go back to my good old trusty blending brush. This is one of my favorites, and I'm going to just kind of blend over that in circular motions a little bit. So that is the bulk of the lid look. As you can see, I don't have a lot of fallout. These shadows are great for fallout. I'm going to go back into the Huda Beauty palette to finish up my eye look in just a little bit. But before we do that, I'm going to kick off the bake. So just take your brush and just kind of like flick off any of the excess powder, any of the fallout that might have occurred. Sometimes I like to use my Essence Pure Nude highlighter to like put on the brush and like flick it off, but today I'm using a different highlighter, so I do not want to put that on there. Okay, so most of it is kicked off. I'm going to take any of the excess and just kind of powder around the parts of my face that need a little bit of extra help. So I'm going through a transition. I'm going to talk about it in a different video. I recently stopped taking my birth control, and my face is now getting oily again. So I used to be super oily and acne prone when I was an adolescent, and then I started taking birth control and it dried me out, like seriously. And then now that I'm not taking anymore, I'm going back to this really oily mess. So I'm just gonna powder. But like right now I'm in this weird transition phase where I'm not completely, but I'm not, you know, not fully one, not fully the other yet. So it's kind of weird. Okay, so kick off the powder. And now I'm going to go into another new product that I have. This is also going to be featured in an upcoming video. Okay, I have the Maybelline Master Chrome by Face Studio Metallic Highlighter in the shade, want to guess? Molten Rose Gold. And guys, this is beautiful. I am not one to get excited about a highlighter, but I got home and okay, do you do this? You get in the car, you buy new makeup, and you like immediately pull it out right off the packaging and you're like swatching on the back of your hand? Because I do. And so I bought this, and I peeled off that little sticker, scrubbed my hand in it a little bit, and I like put it on my hand, and I was like, it's so pretty. So I'm going to go ahead. You do not need a lot. So I'm going to tap off the excess. And then I'm just going to hit the high points. Of my face. It's super powdery. Did you see all that powder that just came off? You don't need a lot, I promise. Oh, it's just so pretty. I'm going to apply a lot, but you don't need a lot. Like, oh my gosh, do you see that? Like, I really hope it's coming across on camera. It is like super pretty. Okay, I'm gonna put some down the nose. I'm gonna put a little bit kind of everywhere. I just want to bathe in it. It's so pretty. Okay, so now that we are done with the highlight, I'm gonna go and finish the under eye. I'm going to go back in with that little flat shader brush. I can't talk today. I'm going to go straight into Saffron, like straight into it again. And I'm going to run this all the way in. Make sure you clean it off first because it does have that black shadow. I'm going to try something with this face every time I do my makeup. Oh, but it's so hard. And then I'm going to put it on its like little angle, like on its flat side, and just look up and blend that out. Like that's some blended. Then I'm going to go into Angelic and throw this right kind of where we put that on the lid, on the lower part. Just like that. And I'm going to take the more conical blending brush that we used in the beginning. I'm just going to kind of run that across the bottom again to make sure that it's all nice and blended. I don't want any like hard edges, which I feel like I have a harsh edge over here. My under eye shape is quite weird. Like my eyes are like, I don't know how you call it, like set out a little bit, like they kind of like poke out. So I kind of have like this little lip where my under eye area is. So a lot of times I feel like under eye makeup looks really weird. But I've been really getting into smoking out the under eye quite a bit recently. Okay, so that is it for the eyeshadow. Really pretty rose gold look. Oh, I forgot to do like the MVP of the entire look. Okay, so if you want a little bit of reflection in the center of the lid, go back into that highlight shade. I love doing this. And just tap it right here in the middle. I'm not trying to flick you off, I promise. Right here in the middle. Oh my gosh, see how much brightness that brings? Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. And guess what? It's a rose gold highlighter, so it matches with the look so well. And then I'm gonna take a little bitty, this is the e.l.f. Professional Eye Crease Brush, except this is like a little to my crease. I'm gonna dip it in 2 times to that same highlighter, and I'm gonna go right in the inner corner. Not a lot, because this highlight can get very easily out of control very fast, but just to bring some brightness. And then actually bring it down a little bit to meet with the angelic shade that we have underneath there. Okay, now I'm gonna move on to my brows, and I have another exciting new product to use. This is the Wet n Wild Ultimate Brow Retractable Brow Pencil, and I love this. So in a video that I did previously, I mentioned that I didn't have a brow product, because like a brow pencil, because I ran out of mine. So I went and I picked this up, and I love this. It has, let's see if I can show you here on a camera. It has a triangular tip like this. It's really cool looking. It reminds me a lot of the brow definer from Anastasia Beverly Hills. And I love it because it just makes it so easy to do my brows. So I'm gonna do my brows off camera because it takes me a while, and I'll come back and just show you what I do. All right, guys, so I applied my brows off camera like I said I was going to, because that's a really long process. If you're interested to see how I do my brows, I can film a video on that alone. Just let me know down in the comments. I'd be happy to do it. So next I'm going to go on to mascara, and I'm gonna use 2 of my favorites, but first I'm going to curl them. So next I'm going to apply 2 mascaras because I'm extra like that. But it's Valentine's Day, so you want to like look great, right? So I'm going to go in with the Essence Lash Paradise False Lash Effect Mascara. Okay, so I was going to go in with a secondary mascara, but I actually don't think I'm going to because I like the effect I'm getting right now. Okay, so I just finished my mascara. I'm not gonna do 2, actually I did 2 coats. I'm not gonna do a second mascara because I actually like the effect I have. I find that when you have a very strong lower lash line, like when you have shadows and you smoke it out, it's better to do bold under, like bottom lashes, under eyelashes. So there's only one thing left to do to finish this look off, and that is to apply some lipstick. Today I'm going to be using the Physicians Formula The Healthy Lip Velvet Finish in the shade, you want to guess? Dose of Rose. See the trend here? Dose of Rose. That's what I should name this whole look, A Dose of Rose. Okay, now I'm gonna let this dry down for just a second because it will dry down. It's not a super high staying, long lasting, like liquid lipstick, but it does dry down to a very comfortable velvet finish. All right, guys, so that is it. This is my Valentine's 2018 look. Let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe. I put videos out like this every Tuesday and Thursday, so make sure to be notified of when you get my new videos. So, all right, bye, loves.